a snowmobile, any vehicle that you buy, the rules apply. Okay. So we got these two are covered. So now we're gonna go on to buying a used vehicle. So let's go to page. Remember, everything from 9 to 12 was posted yesterday. And make sure you have a highlighter ready to go as well. And when buying used, obviously a new car is always dealership, right? It's always going to be from a dealer. But when you're buying a used vehicle, it could be a dealership or it could be a private sale, right? Kijiji, your neighbor, your friend, right? That would be a private sale, okay? Anybody know what the biggest difference is between buying from a dealer and buying private? It has to do with taxes. I don't know if anybody in here knows. Maybe you didn't buy a car. Maybe you just drive someone else's car, right? So from a dealership, you still pay 12% tax. Even if it's used, you still pay both taxes, PST and GST. Right? Let's put that here, PST and GST. You pay both taxes. When it comes to a private sale, it's only 7%. You only pay PST. So there's some savings right there. Right? Some savings right there. That's the biggest difference there. Another difference is that a dealership, when you buy from a dealership, they have a reputation to uphold. So if they sell you a sour lemon car that breaks down all the time, and nowadays with social media, right? You go on there and you say, like, they sold me a piece of garbage, right? Or something like that. Their reputation will suffer. So they're very aware of that. They don't want to do that. So they make sure their cars are in working order. They have their own mechanics. They have their own certified inspectors, right? Whereas private, not so much, right? Like private, you don't know, that person could be gone, right? You sign the papers, you're like, see ya, it's on you now, right? So there are some pros and cons going either way, but tax savings are definitely on the side of private sale. Okay, let's fill in some blanks here. MPI stands for Manitoba. You know this one, right? Public insurance, yes. And for the most part in Manitoba, right, is provided by this Crown Corporation, which means it's owned by the government, right? You can insure online. They now have it that you can actually do everything online yourself. But most of the time you go through an AutoPack agent. I don't know if you've heard AutoPack. I'm sure you've seen AutoPack agents. They're also called insurance brokers, right? So they're kind of like the middle person between MPI and you. You go to them, they ask you for your driver's license, and they have all that information, all the cars you own, they have all of that on their database, right? So they kind of talk to MPI on behalf of you, okay? Safety inspection. Prior to insuring a vehicle in Manitoba, it needs to pass a safety inspection. That's very important. If you didn't know that, now you know. It's called a certificate of inspection, or a COI. You got to remember this one, okay? It is valid for how many months is this safety valid? Anybody? I'm just asking because sometimes people know. I wouldn't expect you to know, but it's worth 12 months. Okay, 12 months. If you safety a car today, that safety is good for 12 months. Okay? You can sell the car within 12 months there. The document has 3 copies, a white, a pink, and a yellow. The person buying the car gets the white copy. And you know why I'm saying this? Because I suffered the consequences of not doing that. So I buy my car, and the seller guy just has those 3 papers, and he's like, I'll give you the pink one, right? And I'm like, I guess, okay. So I go to insure my car, and they're like, we need the white copy. It's like, I don't have the white copy, I just have the pink copy. Well, you need to go get the white copy. So I had to go all the way back across the city, meet the guy again, get the white copy. So make sure you retain the white copy. That's yours. That's the one you need. That's the original. TOD stands for Transfer of Ownership Document. Very important as well when it comes to registering your car, or when you buy it, buying or selling a car, you need that document. This document is required when registering and insuring the vehicle. Make sure the information on the blue matches the vehicle being purchased or sold. Okay, this is important for life. Make sure that the information matches the actual car. Okay, I will show you these documents at the end. They're in the back of this booklet, so you know. Bill of sale, a legal document that lists the names of all parties involved, as well as the make, model, and the VIN number. Anybody know what a VIN number is? From the ID of the car. It's a long number and letters. I'll show you that too in a bit. That's very important that it matches the car. The mileage of the vehicle at the time of the transaction as well is included in there. Everyone should have a signed copy of the document, right? Everybody. The seller and you can get a template, right? Get the template online or from MPI directly. Just Google it, bill of sale, and it'll show up. You go print it, and off you go, okay? Purchase price, the actual value paid for the vehicle. It may be more or less than the book value. Highlight that part as well. What is the book value? Well, there used to be an actual paper copy of this book, but now it's all online, and Autopack has a book value for your car. And this is what it is. Book value is the value of the car based on its make and age. This is important. It does not always reflect the actual market value. You just got to remember that. It's kind of like a baseline for them, right? That way you can't sell a car for $1 and try to save taxes. People used to do that, right? Oh, I'm just going to sell it to you for $1 on this paper, but really you give me $5,000, right? But that you saved a lot of taxes there, right? It provides a reference point. You can call an Autopack agent and ask for the book value of the vehicle you're considering on buying and selling. I did that. Yeah. They did that with real estate. Yeah. Yeah. I still wouldn't advise it because it's kind of, it is tricky, right? Like, because it sets the value of your home, right? You will need to provide the make, year, and model of the car. So I called, right? I want to buy a Jeep Wrangler. What is it in your books? So just ask a bunch of questions. Oh, okay, it's this much. So now you kind of know what they see it as being worth. Okay. Trade-in. Same as before. If there's a trade-in, subtract from the original price. Same as before. Parts and labor. Any repairs or work done, as well as parts being replaced, are taxed PST and GST. Parts and labor, guys, anything being done to the car, including labor, is 12% tax in this province. It used to be different, but it's still 12% now, so that makes it easier. It's a good idea to calculate the parts and labor prior to determining the total cost of purchasing the car. A lien search. Anybody know what a lien search is? I don't know. I didn't even know until I started teaching this course, right? A lien search is a claim or legal right against assets that are typically used as collateral to satisfy a debt. Come again, Mr. Dirksen? I don't get that. A lien is established by financial institution. A lien serves to guarantee an obligation such as a repayment of a loan. No taxes on this. Let me explain lien a little bit, and I will use I will use this blank page just before it. Okay. I'm gonna try my best. You like visuals, right? So let's say you buy this car. Yeah, sorry guys, you're not gonna get much better than this. That's all you're gonna get from me, right? Let's say this is you, right? And you own this car. And when you go get a loan, the bank basically puts a lien on this car, which is basically, these are not sausages, this is a chain, okay? The bank basically says, right, we're gonna put a chain on this car just so you don't just take off with it. You can drive around with it, whatever, but you can't go and sell it and get rid of it and get the money and disappear, right? So this is basically the lien. The lien is like it ties this car to that bank until you've repaid the loan in full. Okay, and every car has a VIN number, right? An identification number. So that VIN number is somewhere in the cloud, right? They upload that in the cloud. So in Canada and in the US, right, there's a national database, and you can perform a search, and if your search comes up in this database, do not buy that car. Okay, that car is tied to the bank, and until this person pays off the loan and then gets rid of this chain, it technically belongs to the bank. So you want to do a lien search to make sure the car isn't tied to a financial institution. You know what? People bought a car and they found out that a bank in the States owned that car, had a lien on it. So they can actually come and take it from you. Have you ever seen those repo shows where they repossess, like, yeah, they could technically do that, right? And so be careful with that. How do you protect yourself from that? I tell you right here, right at the bottom here. I strongly recommend that you perform a history check on any vehicle you're planning on purchasing. Have you heard of Carfax? You may have come across Carfax. That's a very good website. It will search for any reported, this got cut off, guys, damages, accidents. Can you write that in at the very bottom of this thing? Damages, accidents, or liens. Right? It will check for that. I know I overwhelmed you right now with information. I get it. But it's important for you to know. Okay? And I added a bunch of documents to the back of this thing. So we're going to go, let me see here, let's go to page 93 first. Page 93, this is the safety. This is what a safety looks like exactly right now. Okay, you see it? You want your car, you want this box here to be checked off, right? That it passed the safety. A mechanic will have checked for all of these things here, all of these things, brakes, rust under the car, you name it, they check for all of these things. It's a bit blurry, but if you look carefully, it should have passed everything. 93. Yeah. Watch this here. I highlighted a few things. There's the where is it? VIN number. You see that right there? The VIN number. This number right here, make sure it matches your car. Okay? Don't be scared to possibly offend the person selling. If that person has nothing to hide, they will be like, yeah, sure, check it. Check everything you want, right? Don't be too eager to buy that car. You got to make sure you cover your base, right? That is important. I want you to just know the biggest areas that they're checking, right? They're checking for driver's controls. They check for undercarriage. That means everything under the car. If there's too much rust under the floor, it's going to fail. They're going to have to replace that and fix it, right? The engine compartment, they check that. Obviously, the brakes, right? Very important. They check for the tire depth, right? How much meat is on the tires, basically. If it's too worn out, you might have to get new tires in order to pass safety. They check the brake lining thickness, the drum rotor measurement, the drum rotor. You know what? I'm not going to explain that, but they check for the brakes. And if you're mechanically inclined, you know what that means, right? But anyways, those are the main areas they check. So that's a safety right there for you. You want the white copy. Don't forget that. Next is the bill of sale on page 94. This is the one I always use. If I ever sell or buy anything, I go to AutoPack. You can actually just photocopy this one if you want. You can rip it out and use it. Hey, how's that? Bill of sale example, right? So there's the seller. All the names of the people owning that car should show up here, right? And then of the sum of, you say how much you're going to sell it for. And then this is the buyer, right? All the people that are going to be on that title. Usually it's just one person and one person. But I bought cars that were owned by father and son kind of thing. So you got to make sure both names are on there. Because when you go and insure it, they're very picky, right? They're very picky with that. And then there's some details of the vehicle, right? Year, make, model, VIN. Again, that's very important. And the mileage and kilometers. Make sure this is correct because AutoPack records that. And then check if applies, right? You're selling it as is, right? Or if there's any warranties, this is usually from a dealer, right? If there's some warranties that are going to be given. Most people sell it as is. You buy it as is, that's it, then it's yours, okay? And then the seller signature, the buyer signature, they sign here. Make one of these for everybody, okay? You and the person buying, who's buying, the person selling. Usually the person selling will have this for you. They should at least. One last piece of document, and then I'm going to do some math. We'll do some math here. This is actually on page 95. This is what we call the TOD, the transfer of ownership. This is actually bluish. It's in your dash. Like most of your cars will have it in the glove compartment, not dash, sorry, in the glove compartment. This is the safety. If you ever get pulled over, the cops want to see this one. And at the back of this, you need to make sure the person selling you that car, they need to sign here. You need to make sure they sign here. It's hard to see. Sorry, I couldn't find a better version online. But they need to sign there, making sure they give you the car. It's basically they're releasing the car to you. AutoPack will not let you insure the car if you don't have this signed, right? Okay. And again, watch this, guys. There's this serial number here, which is essentially the VIN number of the car. They just have test vehicle 112234, right? Like, but that's actually going to be different. So 3 things you need, guys. 3 things. You need a safety. You need a bill of sale. And you need the TOD signed. Those 3 papers you need to go in with to AutoPack before they will insure the car. Other than that, no deal. Okay. One more thing. Go to page 97. That's the VIN number right there. Most cars, if you look on the front windshield, look straight down, you'll see a little plate, a metal plate that has a VIN number in it. You can take a picture of that and go do a search on it. or ask the person on, I do Kijiji chats, right? Can you send me the VIN number? And then they send me a picture, and then I search, right? So it's very important. Did you also know that this VIN number should be on every part of that car? The door, if you open the door, there should be that VIN number on the side. And if it's not, what happens when the door VIN doesn't match the car's VIN? What does that mean? It's not the original part. They probably repaired it. So you got to watch out for that, right? So, and the VIN number tells you a lot, right? Where the vehicle was built, right? All different things. That is beside the point. You don't really need that, right? Just make sure you get that VIN before you buy. And here's the actual sample of a Carfax report. So this car, for example, this is on page 98. You're still awake, right? Kind of. Sorry, there's a lot of information. I get it. But look at this one. 98. Look at this report here for this Ford Explorer. There's that VIN number that was entered. It gives you all the, it was assembled in the US, last reported odometer, right? Watch this. This car had a lien record found. Not good. Okay. There was some damage or accidents reported. And it's not always a bad thing if there's an accident. Like if you, right, like let's say you got a rear end collision, somebody just bumped into you. It might not be a big deal, right? Last registered in Ontario, there is 6 service records found. So if you bring it to a dealer for some sort of repair, that also gets put in a database, right? So you could click on that and get all the details. No US history found, which is probably a good thing if you're buying in Canada. And there's one open recall. What is a recall? When, oh, Nico? Yeah. Right. Sometimes your car, your specific car, there's something wrong with the airbags. They find that it just goes off on its own. They will recall all those vehicles. You bring it to a dealership and they put a brand new one in. They replace something. Like my car had something with the hitch, so they had to replace the whole hitch. I don't really know what was wrong with it, but they just called me and said, hey, you have a Jeep Wrangler, bring it in and we'll replace the hitch because it's a recall. Maybe there was an issue with it. So if it's not necessarily a bad thing, but you just got to make sure you take care of it. No actively declared, not declared stolen. That's probably a good thing too, right? And no import record found. So it means that it always stayed in Canada. So that's a good thing. So it costs, I forgot now, guys. It's not a whole lot. It's like $50 maybe. $50? Well, it's better than getting in trouble, right? You're spending $5,000 and then it's not the vehicle that you were expecting. So there, that's it. That's it for all the different pieces of information you needed to know. Okay, let's go to page 15. I don't know about you, but I had to learn all of this on the fly, right? So you are better equipped than me already. Main difference between the two, right, dealership versus private sale, is that you only pay PST, right? A private sale only pay PST. There it is again. PST is due when you register the vehicle at your Autopack agent. And if you were sleeping, now you need to wake up. This is the part that makes this used vehicle purchase a bit trickier. The PST, just highlight PST, it will be calculated on the greater of the actual purchase price or the book value. See what I'm saying, what I'm doing there? PST will be calculated on the actual price or the book value. Before I move on, who gets the PST? Who do you give the PST to? The owner you're buying it from? Don't give it to that person. Don't pay PST. You will pay that PST when you go to AutoPack. Okay, AutoPack will collect it from you. Don't give it to the other owner. Okay, that's just what I'm going to say there. Couple of things here. There's PST and GST. So when you buy a new car, you pay both taxes. Let's just do this 12%. You know that already. Buying new, 12%. No exceptions. Buying used from a dealership, you still pay both taxes. No changes. Is 12%. If you're buying private, now things change. There's no GST, watch, right? No GST. So you're only paying PST on, you only pay 7% on either purchase or book. That's all I'm going to say there. Okay? On the purchase price or on the book value, whichever one is greater. Safety, you don't pay PST. You see that there? So if when it comes to safety, you will only pay 5% tax. Materials and labor, it's basically parts and labor. PST and GST, you pay both taxes, 12%. A lien search, no PST, no GST, so 0% taxes. Not bad, right? So you don't pay taxes on a lien search. So here are your formulas. I probably won't be able to do a whole lot. I definitely will not AC you on this tomorrow because we're still fresh on this. But I want you to add these formulas to your study sheet. They look quite ugly, but I promise that if you follow the examples, you'll be okay. There's the difference between a used car from a dealer and there's a used car bought privately. When you buy from a dealer, it's still the same. Sticker minus trade times 1.12, right? You recognize that formula right there, correct? The only thing is added that if you were to have to pay for the safety, why is it times 1.05, you might ask? Well, there's only 5% taxes. So that's why that's 1.05. Then if there are any parts and labor you need to pay for to pass the safety, obviously that gets taxed 1.12 or 12%. And lien search doesn't have anything multiplied, right? Because there are no taxes on it. Make sense? Dollars and cents, right? So we'll move on to private here. It's a little different. Watch this. If I could do this part and this part is the same. See that? Safety, parts and labor, and lien stays the same. It's this part that is different. And that's what throws some students off. But just follow me here. You take the purchase price of the car, whatever you agree with the seller. Let's say you buy it for 10 grand, that's what it is. You pay that, plus you're going to have to pick the greater of the two. You will always be given both numbers, right? The book value and what it's purchased for. And you're going to have to pick the greater of the two. Can you please highlight that? I cannot tell you which one it will be. You have to pick the greater number, okay? And do you notice that? I like to highlight this part because students get this one wrong. You notice that it's just 0.07, not 1.07? Because on this car, you pay taxes here. So this is basically the PST that you're paying. So purchase price, tack on the taxes to that, and then it's safety, parts and labor, lien. Also, make sure you don't go times. Some students always go this times times the whole thing, then it's like $2 million to buy the car, right? Just make sure you don't do that. Okay, be reasonable. Okay, next. I think I have time for one example. When purchasing from a dealer, parts and labor as well as safety is usually included, right? Usually dealerships have it all taken care of, but if not, we have a formula. A lien search is usually not required when you're buying from a dealership. Why not? Well, they have a reputation to uphold. They will make sure most of the used cars they sell are trade-ins. You can bet they do a search before they get your trade-in. You can bet on that. They probably have like an unlimited account and they just go check it all the time, right? Both formulas calculate the total after tax. Do not add taxes again. It is very important. So basically, don't multiply total by 1.12. Do not do that. Some students do the whole formula. It's beautiful. Oh, it said after taxes times 1.12. Like the whole thing times 1.12 again. So you're like double taxing, right? So you got to watch out for that. I don't blame you because sometimes, right, these formulas are so complicated, but you will not find these formulas anywhere. I just developed them over the years because students kind of like a formula, right? But understand them, okay? All right. All right. Before we fall asleep, let's go. You agree on the price of $12,999. It's a used car at a dealership. So it's not a new one for sure. Scratch new one. It's a used. And when it's used, we need to figure out is it private or is it dealer? It's a dealership. You add a remote starter. Smart move in Manitoba, right? Remote starter for $499.99. And the dealer offers you $3,500 for your old car. That's considered a trade-in, right? How much is paid in total, including taxes? So I'm going to use my formula. Use dealer asks for sticker minus trade times 1.12 plus safety times 1.05 plus parts and labor times 1.12 plus lien, right? This is the formula that you would have on your study sheet. Oops. And you're like, wait a minute, it doesn't talk about safety. It doesn't talk about parts and labor, does it? Mr. Dirksen, isn't that remote starter maybe parts and labor? So if you want to put it in here, that's fine. But regardless if you put it in the sticker, because sticker has options in it, correct? Are you with me? Regardless where you put it, it's going to be 1.12. So I will just go like this. And there's no lien mentioned, so that's all gone. So you're really down to just this. So I will go sticker. Sticker price would be $12,999 plus $499.99, right? You sound like a salesperson. It's always 99, right? And see, I just went times here. So it would be 6,499,000. No, it can't be. Okay, there we go. 13,498.99. That's the sticker price. So used dealer, it's simply that So you should see that everything is connected. Times 1.12. That is 9,998.99 when you subtract this, and you're going to multiply that by 1.12. Your total is 11,198.87. So don't times it by 1.12 again, right? This is already doing it, right? So you're done there. I'm going to stop there. I don't like to run out of time and then it's all rushed, right? So for tomorrow, just add those formulas to your study sheet. That's the only homework. And maybe you need to do pages 9 to 12. Maybe you haven't done that. Maybe you need to do a little bit of work there. So your homework is adding the formulas to your study sheet. Got it? Okay. Thank you guys.